Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's professional development seminar on instructional video production. I'm Dave Giberson, an old instructional design coordinator from Online Learning Pathways at the district, and I'll be your host for today's fun, because this one is kind of a guilty pleasure for me, and this is some of the stuff I most enjoy, and I think a topic that is critically important to producing high quality instructional materials these days, regardless of how you teach your courses or in what modality you teach your courses, whether you're in the classroom full-time or online full-time or hybrid or high flex or whatever. Instructional video production is a very important tool in your instructional tool bag. So why should we bother to create instructional video? Well, for starters, it works. Students remember what they view a lot longer than what they read. However little we might like it to be so, we're conditioned to consume information and entertainment in the video format. We all do it from infancy on up to all the way through our lives. I doubt there's anybody on the call today who remembers the time before TV. And I certainly don't. And the presentation of complex ideas and instruction and subject matter just works better in video than it does in text. Indeed, the one paper I remember reading indicated that students remember something like 80% of the material that they view in a video a week later. You can't say that about something they read. I don't remember the exact number that the article quoted for reading retention, but it was a lot lower than 80%. I remember that. And you might ask, well, there's a lot of good instructional video out there that's already created. You can go on YouTube or Vimeo or TED or a variety of sites on the internet and pull down very high quality instructional video for free. And our libraries in most of the institutions subscribe to libraries of instructional video like Films on Demand or Swank. And my effort, the tendency to think is, well, my efforts are going to be pretty amateurish by comparison with a lot of that material, and that's probably true. Mine certainly are. But it still matters. If it's still a good idea for you to produce your own instructional video, because your students will pay a lot more attention to it if they know they're watching the person who's going to be assigning their grades. As the bullet there says, your voice, with air quotes, your literal voice, the sound of your voice, the timbre of your voice, and so on, and your metaphorical voice, the persona that you project in your videos, engage students a lot more effectively than those produced by other people. And finally, it's easier than producing instructional material in almost any other format. I mean, you can type and type and type and type and paste in a screenshot when you absolutely have to have something visible, paste in a still image. And you can produce perfectly good instructional material that way, but it takes for bleeding ever. It's a lot simpler just to rip off a video that contains the same information You do have to get over the idea that the video has to be perfect. I just muted everyone there, but feel free to unmute yourself to ask a question. Perfection or perfect is the enemy of good in video more than probably any other endeavor. No video is perfect. Professionally produced instructional videos or even feature films that involve crews of hundreds and hundreds of people are never perfect. There's always some glitch in it somewhere. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. And indeed, it's not worth the time to try to make it perfect. Just make it effective and use it. So this is producing instructional video is especially important these days when so much of our instruction takes place online, because it's our way to put ourselves online and the complex concepts that we're trying to communicate to our students online and allow them to view it whenever they wish, as often as they wish, in whatever way they wish. You know, they can watch a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow, rewind and watch something again. It's just a more effective instructional medium than just about anything else we have access to. There are basically two types of instructional video we'll talk about today. One is like a full motion video, like this video that I might use in a biology class if I were teaching biology anymore. It's been a few years. But a little cell phone video that I took in Yellowstone Park a few months ago. Full motion video can be created from your webcam or your cell phone or a camcorder or whatever video recording device you happen to have on you at the time. That smartphone that you carry around in your pocket has a camera on it that's better than most of the personal camcorders and so on you could buy 5 or 10 years ago, and that you can produce marvelous video that way. We'll talk about that's one of our primary areas of concern today. The other type of video is a screencast video, where you record your computer screen along with voiceover. And you record the computer screen in full motion. You see a little tutorial video playing down there in the lower right of the slide that allows you to communicate very complex concepts very effectively, and they're dirt simple to create, as we'll see here today. So these are the two types of video we'll basically be focusing on today. Okay, so just to tell you what I'm going to tell you, as the old saying goes, we're going to start off with a little bit of information about how to do video production using that video studio that you carry in your pocket everywhere you go, your smartphone or your tablet if you have an iPad that you carry around with you. You can do the same thing with a tablet, an Android or an Android tablet or an iPad. Then we're going to talk about the tool that I know the video production tool that I know you all have access to because the district provides it for free. Zoom. I'm doing instructional video production right this minute and sort of painlessly because I'm just recording this meeting. That's basically all you have to do to produce instructional video in Zoom is to record a Zoom meeting. I'm also just going to give you a brief introduction to my favorite hobby horse, the video production using what's called Open Broadcaster Software Studio. which is a free video studio that you can install on your PC or your Mac and do quite sophisticated instructional video production on, or do simple video production simply and quickly. We're also going to talk about a useful technique in instructional video production called chroma key or green screen effects. Then we'll talk a little bit about post-production, about how to get your video online and how to edit it if you need to. If you produce a raw video that you'd like to clean up and maybe combine with some other videos and make a more sophisticated looking production, it can be useful to have video editing tools. And there's some wonderful free ones out there now, or free to us anyway. And I'm going to talk about one that's not free, but that is marvelous in its capability and very easy to use. And finally, we'll talk about how to, I'm actually, this last topic I'll probably interleave with several of the other slides of how to put our instructional video that we make online so that we can share it with our students. I mean, it doesn't matter how wonderful an instructional video we create. If we don't have any way to share it with our students, it's not going to do us much good. And there's some marvelous free ways to do this, simply do this today. So that's going to be what we're going to cover today. And we'll start with your smartphone. What a wonderful tool for video production. You always have it in your pocket or your purse. It's always with you. You can then take advantage of serendipitous teachable moments. You just happen to see something while you're out and about that applies to your particular subject. You can whip out the smartphone, record it, and take it back and go through this production process that we're going to talk about here, which is very easy and very quick. And then you can share that with your students. And you can do it over and over and over again with very little effort. So this is probably the best video tool that anyone's ever had carrying with them. And it is still seems like science fiction to me, but I use it every day. The one thing that will sometimes make ad hoc video like this a little hard to consume is the shaky factor. You know, when you're recording something handheld with a cell phone, it can be a little shaky and hard to watch. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't just pull the phone out and use it when you have the chance. But if you're planning ahead, you have a little warning about what you want to do. A tripod with an adapter on the top that will hold the cell phone. This is a typical one here. You can get these from Amazon. You can walk into Best Buy and buy them right now. You can probably even find them at Walmart these days. Certainly you can order them online and have them in a few days. And they'll fit on top of a standard tripod, or even like a selfie stick, just a little monopod that you can carry around slung over your back, or even with the smaller ones in your pocket or in a purse or a man bag, and steady the cell phone so that it doesn't, the video doesn't jitter as much. You do want to consider lighting a little bit when you're doing video production. Let me illustrate that here. Alexa, subject light on. Okay, I just leapt out a little bit there. It was a little hard to tell with my small image there, but I just turned on the lights that I have pointed at me in my little studio here. Lighting makes a tremendous difference with video. And you don't always have a lot of control over that, especially if you are shooting an ad hoc and an opportunistic video when you're out and about with your smartphone. But there are, of course, some rules that you can do to avoid really serious problems with lighting. Never shoot into the sun. All that people are going to see of whatever you're trying to shoot is a silhouette in black. If you're in a room, never shoot toward a window. Have your back to the window when you're shooting and have the light falling on whatever you're shooting rather than sitting behind it. That's probably the most important rule of video lighting, particularly with smartphones. But if you are setting up to use your smartphone as a video camera in a more controlled situation where you have time to plan, in addition to putting your smartphone on a tripod like this, you can also, of course, set up lighting. And the same rules apply. You don't want the lighting behind the subject. You want it falling on whatever you're trying to video from behind you, if possible, and generally at an angle so that it doesn't leave shadows. Or if you're shooting someone who has glasses on, you don't want to point the light right at them if you can possibly avoid it, because all you'll see of their eyes is a couple of little bright spots from the reflection of the light in their glasses. Is something I think about. And if I move my head a little bit, I still get a few reflections if I'm not careful here. I've tried to minimize that as much as possible by putting my subject lights higher so that I don't have to look right up at them, and putting them off to the side. Let me show you what I mean. There we go. That's it. And you can see my two lights there. They're above and they're pointing at me diagonally from either side. The microphones built into your smartphone are actually quite good. So often you can get by with just that. But if you're setting up in a situation in a room where you're planning this in advance, using an external microphone is always a good idea if you can. One that will plug into your device and allow you to get better audio. But that's just not as much of a concern as it used to be, because the microphones built into the phones themselves have just gotten so good that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today. So let's go through the process here of creating an instructional video using a smartphone and putting it online and getting it ready to share with your students. And we can run through the whole process in just a few minutes here. So I'm going to start with my phone here by sharing my phone screen with you. It's a neat thing you can do in Zoom. If you happen to have an iPhone, I'm using an iPhone here. This won't work with an Android phone or an Android tablet, unfortunately, but it will work with an iPhone or an iPad. Had to be some reason why you're paying Apple that ridiculous amount of money, right? I'll go to my share screen, and let me first share my Zoom screen with you so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now you're seeing my Zoom screen instead of yours. Look a lot alike at this point, but it allows me to show you what I'm doing with my Zoom menus here. I can click the share button and I can select share iPhone or iPad. And then click the share button to activate that. When that happens, and unfortunately, I can't share this with you. When I do that, I get a screen that tells me how to enable screen sharing on the iPhone. It tells me to connect to the Wi-Fi network, the same Wi-Fi network as the PC, which I only have one Wi-Fi network here at home, so that's a given. With the iPhone, you need to bring up your control panel, which is I'll show it to you in a minute, but to bring it up, I have to go to, first off, I have to log in. I have to open up the phone, and I have to go to the upper right-hand corner of my iPhone screen and touch it, and then sweep down diagonally toward the lower left. That brings up my control panel on my iPhone. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. And then there's a button on that control panel for so-called screen mirroring. It looks like two little rectangles overlapping one another. You tap that, and you get a list of things to which you can share your iPhone screen. And one of those the title of one of those will start with the word Zoom, and that's the one you want. So you tap that, and within a few seconds, if the technology gods are okay, that's what the screen mirroring screen looks like. And I just tapped on the one starting with Zoom. Now, if I just tap anywhere other than in that dark oval there, this is my control panel. And the screen mirroring button, I don't think you'll be able to see this, but is the two little rectangles in the second row of icons on the phone screen. You can see them kind of pulsing right now, indicating that I am sharing my screen with you in this case. Now I can just close the control panel by sweeping up from the bottom. There's my home screen. Anybody who's had an iPhone has seen something like this. And of course, to shoot a video, there's my camera icon. Third row down, third from the left. I just tap on that, and my camera comes up. And now I have a still camera and a video camera in my hand, which is pretty freaking amazing. Still gets me. And of course, I want to shoot video in landscape mode, that is sideways, rather than holding it vertically like so, because most video is shot this way, and is when you go to put this online and so on, it's going to work a lot better if it's in landscape mode like this. So there's a great YouTube video called Ban Vertical Video that humorously states what I've just said. But here I've got this is my little studio here. So tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just to have something to film. I'm just going to film a little description of my video studio here. So I'll get things started on one end of it here. And I by default, of course, I'm set to take a photo, but if I just tap where it says video, now I'm ready to take a video. And I have a big red record button. This is probably no revelation to you. You probably use your phone numerous times to take videos. This is just doing that and doing it for instructional purposes. So to start the video, I just tap the big red button, which is universal symbology, video symbology for record. So I try to gather my thoughts so I don't sound too much like an idiot. And perhaps if I were wise, I would have written out a script, or at least written out an outline of what I wanted to be sure to cover in this video before I started. Or I might just point, shoot, and rip, which I'm going to do right now. Now we're recording. Okay, this is what can result if you make a little money teaching and your wife lets you spend money on toys. This is a cautionary tale. This is my little video studio at home. I start off on the left here with a pan, tilt, zoom camera that I can control remotely with a joystick, so I can aim it at anything and I can zoom in and out and so on. And then moving around here, trying to pan down slowly. There's the controller with the joystick for the pan, tilt, zoom camera. And here we go. I've got some computer screens, a microphone on a boom, which isolates it from vibration. So when I move my mouse around on the desktop, I don't get little thumps all the time. Then a computer with 4 screens, a nice camera that you're seeing me on most of the time. And moving on around here, you can see the subject lighting we talked about a moment ago. And then over here on the side, I've got a laptop set up and a Mac. I never thought I'd own a Macintosh computer, but that one actually turned out to be quite reasonable in price. It gives me an entry into that world. And then topping it all off with a nice big green screen so that I can do chroma key tricks in my instructional videos. Okay, so I just stopped the video by tapping on the red button again, on the little red square. And I just record. That's all there is to recording a video. Point and tap, and then tap again when you're done. So as I say, I'm sure that's something you've done any number of times. All right, so where's that video? Well, it is on my, sorry to make you nauseous there. Motion sickness is actually something that can be induced by an incautiously applied video technology. So sorry about that. So to see the video, see if it worked, to the left of the red button there is a little thumbnail with the last video or still image I took. So I can just tap on that. And it immediately puts the video on your screen. And now it's playing it. So I'm without the audio right now. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. So how can I now, having created that video in just a few seconds, how can I get it online and share it with my students? Well, I can do that in a variety of ways. Probably the easiest way to do it, and the one I'll illustrate here, is to put this video on YouTube. YouTube is one of the 2 options we're going to talk about today, illustrate today, for putting your instructional videos online and sharing them with your students for free. If you have a Google account, which if you use any of Google products, you do. If you use Google Docs or Gmail or any of Google's services, you almost certainly have a Google account. If you don't have one, you can get one for free just for the asking by going to google.com/accounts, plural. But I'm going to assume you probably have one. All you'll need then is your Google account and a YouTube app that you can load onto your iPhone or your Android phone. And all of this you can do equally well with an Android phone or an iPhone. The only thing you can't do that I've talked about with an Android phone is to share your screen live in a Zoom meeting this way. Though there are ways you can do that too, but not through Zoom's screen sharing technology. Okay. So how do I get this online, and how long does it take? Well, the answer is it's real easy and it doesn't take very long. I do have to have the YouTube app. Let me see if I can find that. Should have looked that up. There it is. It's the second row on the left. That's a classic YouTube symbol. I can open that app just by tapping on it in the usual way. And now I just need to, and it's getting pissy with me. I just need to add a YouTube video to my account. And I think it will let me show this here in a minute. To do that, I have a little add button in the bottom center of the YouTube app. If I just tap that, I get an option to upload a video, and let's see if it will. Yeah, now it's gonna. Just cancel my screen share for some reason. Let me see if I can reestablish that. Well, shoot. Okay. All right, I have another way to share this with you then. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. Darn Google. They have decided to make life difficult. So what I'm going to do here is utilize an alternate, where we talked about dealing with technological failures in the middle of a live session before. Google used to let me do that, but I'm going to do this another way because I set up in advance with the possibility that something like that might occur. So to show you this process, I'm going to hop over to another computer that I have handy here. I'm going to join it to the meeting. Take me just a moment. Adjust that. And I'll join with video. I'm not going to join the audio with this. Yes, I'll continue without audio. And yeah, I know this is being recorded. All right. Now, what I am going to do is share my, let's see. Let me switch to the audio. To the appropriate video, I should say, appropriate video source. All right. And now I'm going to spotlight this video for you. Oops, turn the camera right side up there. And there's my iPhone. Let's make that one the only one that's spotlighted. Okay, here's my YouTube app. And Google can't stop me from sharing it this way. Let me clean up that focus a little bit there. And I don't care about whatever's playing on YouTube right now, but in the bottom center of my, all the way to the bottom in the YouTube app, there's a little plus sign. I tap on that, and I have the option to either create a video, upload one, or go live. Yes, that's another seminar. So I choose upload a video, and YouTube automatically goes to, on the iPhone, to my camera roll, it's called. On an Android phone, it would open up the photo library or video media library on the Android phone. And you could choose between still images and video. And here in the upper left-hand corner is the last video I just shot while we were together. So I can just tap on that video to select it. Now we're recording. It plays the video. Okay. This is what can result, just to reassure me that the video works and that the audio is okay and so on. And I heard that. So once I've had a chance to look at the video and verify it's the one I think I'm uploading, obviously, be careful about which video you upload from your phone. And now in the lower right-hand corner, there's a button labeled Next. I just tap that. And I'm given some information here, some tips. I can add a description. I can set the visibility for the video. The visibility options on YouTube are private, unlisted, it took me a minute, or public. You don't want to use private on YouTube. It's too much of a hassle, and you can only share it with a very limited number of people, and they have to be logged in to YouTube or to their Google accounts in order to view the video. You have to specify each and every person who can see the video. That's not viable for an instructional video. Public, on the other end of the spectrum, is anybody can view it, and they can search for it and find it online. They can go to Google and search for the topic of the video and maybe bring it up. In between the two, those two options is unlisted, which is what I'm going to choose here. Unlisted means anybody can view the video, but only if you send them the link, only if you share the link with them. It's not going to, they're not going to be able to search for it. They're not going to stumble on it online. It's not going to be suggested to them by YouTube for some reason. So typically with most instructional videos, you're either going to do unlisted or public on YouTube. Unlisted if it's something that's of interest only to a limited audience. In this case, this is a little illustrative video that really doesn't stand on its own. But if it's something that could be of value to other people and it doesn't contain confidential or sensitive information of any kind, why not make it public and let, oh, great, a phishing text there. I've gotten that one before. Don't respond to those text messages that come from PayPal. They don't come from PayPal. Probably came from Russia. But the unlisted is a nice compromise, but the public could be of use to somebody, and the strangest things will be of use to people. When it's okay to do so, I always make my videos public. And every now and then, one of them turns out to hit a nerve on YouTube. When I stopped counting with one video I made all the way back in 2007, that was just a simple bit of instruction or a simple bit of support for intended for an individual faculty member. And I was new to YouTube at the time. I just put it on there public. And last time I checked, that video had 70,000 views. So you never know what people will appreciate. And I still get messages from time to time for people thanking me for videos I've put online on YouTube. But this one doesn't really fit that bill. You have to reassure YouTube that the video is not made for kids. That by kids, they mean anyone under 13. Because if you do say that, you have to jump through a bunch more hoops, swearing that you're not going to market sugared cereal to kids and things like that. But usually you just jump right by this screen and you tap the button at the bottom of the screen that says, the blue button that says upload. So if I just tap upload, it does just that. It uploads the video to YouTube. And within moments, depending on the speed of your internet connection, that video will be online. Let's see. Yeah, you can see, if you look very closely at the little symbol, the arrow upload symbol in the lower right-hand corner, it's pulsing. That's an indication that the video is being uploaded right now. I've got a middling internet connection here, and the best I can get right now is about 60 megabits downstream, but I've got a 30 megabit upstream, which is better than average. And when it's finished, it says that the video has been uploaded to your videos, and you can look at it. I just let that pass, but let me go to library here. And let's see, recently added. That's not it. My videos. And there it is. No, that's April 16th. Goodness. That's weird. Well, here's the one from today, July 20th. I don't know what that April 16th one is. It's hung up in the queue, apparently. But here's the one we just did from July 20th. That's how I know it's that one. I can tap on it and play it. We're recording. Okay. This is what can result if you make a little money teaching and your wife lets you spend money on toys. This is a cautionary tale. This is my little video studio at home. I start off on the left here. That's not part of the video. The phone keeps throwing notifications. So I can aim it at anything and I can zoom in and out and so on. And then okay, you saw this happening. Trying to pan down slowly. Just illustrate controller. Just illustrating that the video is now online. And that's all there is to putting the video from your smartphone online. YouTube is probably the easiest way to do that with a smartphone video, but there are other, if you don't want to put your videos on YouTube, you certainly have other options. We'll discuss another one of those here in a few minutes with another illustration that we do. Okay, so let me kill that, remove the spotlight on this video. And let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation there. All right, sharing your videos. Once you've got it online, how do you share it with your students? Lots of different ways to do that. You could just send them to the link to the video. How do you get that? Well, if it's on YouTube, it's quite simple. We'll just pull up a web browser here and go to YouTube. Now you're seeing that. By the way, if you're not already in speaker view, you probably figured that out already. If you're not already in speaker view in Zoom, in your Zoom client, you want to be. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, there is a little button labeled View. And if you click on that, you've got Speaker and Gallery as options, and you want Speaker View in order to see the screens that I'm sending to you full screen here. Okay, so here I am on YouTube. To get that video, which I just uploaded, I could search for it, or I can just go to my YouTube account, which is accessed through this little icon up here in the upper right-hand corner with my picture on it, assuming I've uploaded a profile picture to YouTube. And then I go to what's called YouTube Studio, which allows me to see the videos that I have uploaded to YouTube. This is just some general information about my channel. Oh, I picked up a few more subscribers today. I'm not exactly Kim Kardashian here, or Donald Trump, God forbid, but I've got a few subscribers to this. If I go to my content here, take care, Roberto. So if I go to content, here's that video I just uploaded. It's the last one, the one at the top of the list. To share that with students, I can just click on the little thumbnail for the video and pull up the video on YouTube by clicking on this View on YouTube link up here in the upper left. Here's the video on YouTube. We're recording. Everything looks fine. To share it, I have a share button down here below the video on every YouTube video. And this is true whether this is one of your videos or someone else's. There's always a share button that you can use to share this video with your students. If I click on the share button, I see this share dialog box pop up. And here's the basic link for the video, the so-called share link or share URL for the video, YouTube. I can just copy that to my clipboard, paste it into an email, and send it to someone. That's probably the most straightforward way to share your video with your students. If I want to be a little fancier about that, I can copy what's called the embed code for the video, which is accessed right here where it says embed on the first icon in this list on the left. If I tap that, I get this piece of HTML code that I don't have to know anything about. I just have to know what to do with it. I'll need to copy that to my clipboard to share this with my students. And that one tap right there on the copy button takes care of that. So I have that on my Windows clipboard. Works exactly the same way on a Mac. And I then go to somewhere where I can put that, where I can embed that video, like Canvas. Let me log in here as myself. And here's our Canvas system. I'll scroll down to get to my dashboard, and I'll just use this sandbox shell here. So let's say this was my Canvas course, and I wanted to share this video with my students through this Canvas course. I can just find an appropriate module, like this one will do. Let's see, sharing video module. That'll work. I find that the module in my Canvas course where this video would be appropriate to display. I click an add button here. Click the add item button for this module. And probably what I'll do is create a blank Canvas page. I just select page from the add item of type menu. And I'm going to create a page. I click on that right there. This is Canvas Basics. And I have to give the page a name. And we'll call it Smartphone Video. Obviously, I would probably call it something related to the subject matter. If I were doing this for real students. And add the item to the module. That adds a blank page to the module. To actually embed the video into that page, I click on the name of the item, name of the page. Oh, that was the wrong one, sorry. What on earth? That's weird. It's taking me right to the video, but it's not the video I want. That's odd. It's open smartphone. Another example of something not behaving the way you expect. What on earth? So I want to go to that page. And that was smartphone video. That's what I expected to see. Okay, now I'll edit this page, which is blank. There's nothing in there. I'm going to have to figure out what happened there. I'm not sure. That looks like a Canvas upgrade that I hadn't seen before. But certainly I can get into the page this way. Now to embed that video into this page, I use the little cloud tool, which is at the far right end of the icon bar in your rich content editor in Canvas. And it asks me for an embed code. And I just paste the one that I have on my clipboard into that. And again, I don't have to worry about what any of that means. I just get it all in there and click submit. And now that video is embedded in my Canvas page. If I save the page and publish it, when somebody accesses this page in my Canvas module, they'll be able to play that video right from within Canvas.
Now we're recording. Okay.
Same video. That's about as simple as it can get for creating an instructional video, putting it online, and sharing it with your students through Canvas. This is an especially effective way to do this with YouTube, because you'll note that there's none of the YouTube or very little of the YouTube advertising and so on that bleeds through, as opposed to just if I just put a link to that video into the module, the students would have been sent here.
Topping it all off.
And the video plays perfectly well, but here's all this stuff over here on the right that's a lot more interesting than I am. And they're trying to entice students to watch videos other than yours and sell advertising. So embedding these YouTube videos into a Canvas page that way eliminates a lot of this. So it makes YouTube a better choice for sharing instructional videos with your students. And you'll be in good company there. In case you have some concern about YouTube. YouTube is used by institutions as prestigious as Berkeley and MIT and so on. So we'll be in good company if we use YouTube. Yes, Kathy, I see your hand up.
Oh, okay. You said at first that you couldn't do this with an Android phone.
Oh, yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. The only thing you couldn't do with an Android phone was that screen sharing trick I used.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing you can't do with an Android phone. But I could have, when I had to switch, and YouTube has apparently made that impossible for me to show you how to use the YouTube app while sharing my screen in Zoom. I guess they're afraid I'm going to, share a YouTube video with you that, like there aren't other ways to do that. But anyway, then I switched to my document camera, and that would work equally well with the Android phone and the iPhone. So
I don't have to get one of those long cables and attach the.
No, you don't need any cables at all to do that.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. So that's the process from soup to nuts of shooting a video on a smartphone, getting it online, and sharing it with your students. So that's the entire instructional video production cycle, starting with a smartphone or a tablet. Zoom is my other favorite video production tool. I use this all the time, even though I have many others available to me. This just involves using the recorder in Zoom, which I'm doing right now, as I said earlier. You just record a Zoom session to the Zoom cloud or your local computer. It'll work either way. And you can do this in a live meeting, as I'm doing right now, or you can start a Zoom meeting in your free Zoom Pro account that you have from the district. Your SDCCD-EDU Zoom account used to be your Confer Zoom account, but that migration that took place at the beginning of July just moved administrative responsibility for those free Zoom Pro accounts that the state chancellor's office is paying for, removed the responsibility for managing them from CCC Confer, the centralized and understaffed video conferencing group over at Palomar College, for that managed video conferencing for the entire state. They moved the Zoom Pro account management to individual districts, and ours just got migrated at the beginning of July. So same account, same everything. If for any reason you don't have one of these Zoom Pro accounts, all you have to do is email the IT help desk and ask for one. Let me put that in chat. The IT help desk at the district, and this is true for any of the colleges or continuing ed, the email is ithelp, HEITHELP @sdccd.edu. There it is. And they will give you a free Zoom Pro account, which otherwise would cost you about $13, $14 a month. So there's no reason for any employee at the district not to have their own Zoom Pro account. Indeed, as new employees are onboarded from here on out, they'll automatically receive that account. They don't have to request it. But if you've somehow fallen through the cracks and didn't have a Confer Zoom account, you can still get this free Zoom Pro account by just emailing ithelp@sdccd.edu and requesting it. I urge you to do so. It's what I'm using a free the account that they gave me before I left. They haven't turned it off yet. So I'm going to continue to use it. I have my own I could use, but why not do it on the district's dime? So all you have to do video production in Zoom is start up a Zoom meeting and hit the record button. Doesn't matter whether there's anybody else in the meeting or not. You can run a Zoom meeting all day long with nobody in there but you. And that's probably ideal if you're doing video production, because you don't have to worry about somebody popping in and saying something in the middle of your recording and so on, and ending up, it's like you'll see in outtakes in a movie sometimes they're shooting in a public area or something, and somebody will wander through the camera shot without because someone else looked the wrong way at the wrong time or something. So it's better probably, if you're going to do video production, to start a Zoom meeting with no one in it but you, with no attendees, which works great. All the controls work, including the recorder. Of course, to record a Zoom meeting, if you are the host, which you will be if you start it up in your own account, all you have to do is hit the record button in the Zoom menu at the bottom of the screen. There's a little round button that says record. Not hard to find. Depending on how your Zoom account is set up, Zoom may automatically start recording to the Zoom cloud, which is the default, which will put the video online automatically for you. You don't have to do anything like that process I had to go through with the smartphone video to put the video up onto YouTube. The Zoom Cloud is another video hosting service to which we have access for free by virtue of our Zoom Pro accounts. And it will just automatically record to the cloud. When you finish the recording, there's a stop button, or you can just end the meeting. And the recording will be tied off neatly and processed in the Zoom cloud. And within a few minutes, usually, Zoom will send you an email that says, okay, your Zoom recording's ready. Here's the link to it. Happy sharing. So it's a brutally simple process. And it's just another one of the things that makes Zoom such an easy video production tool to get started with, and yet a very powerful one, because we can record both types of video that we talked about earlier. When we were talking about the smartphone, we were talking about recording just full motion video. So you can record whatever you point your smartphone at. Maybe you in a talking head video, or it may be buffalo walking by your car in Yellowstone National Park, or it may be something that you just happen upon when you're out and about walking or driving around. But a smartphone will only allow you, well, that's not strictly true. You can do screen recording videos on a smartphone as well. You can do screencasting on a smartphone too, but normally you would use that camera just for recording full motion video. But with Zoom, you can do both. Okay. You can record what your webcam is seeing, or you can record what's on your computer screen. And you can switch back and forth between the two at will, producing what looks like what will be a very sophisticated looking instructional video. It'll look like something you did with a video studio, even though you're just using Zoom. Let's illustrate that process here. Let me illustrate that process. I am going to start by changing what you see here to just me. Sorry about that. And I'm going to turn off my Chroma key so you see me as I really am, sitting in front of my green screen here in the bedroom I've created into a place to do these sessions from. And yep, that's what you're seeing. I have a laptop set up next to me here that's joined to the meeting so I can tell what you're seeing. That's a good trick in a live Zoom meeting. If you have your phone with you or another computer, a laptop, you can set it up and join it into the meeting along with the primary computer that you're using to broadcast your Zoom meeting or manage it. And you can always sneak a look over and see if the people on the other end are seeing what you think they are, because that can be a little problematic. I don't think I've made that mistake yet today, but I probably will before we're done. That I will think you're seeing one thing and you're seeing something else, and I'll be talking about something you can't see. By the way, if I do that, please speak up right away. Hey, fool, stop that. We can't see what you're talking about. Ooh. It'll happen sooner or later. All right. So I've got myself set up here so I can natter to you about something. Natter, 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 natter. Then if I want you to see something that's on one of my computer screens, in other words, if I want to do a screencast, I can just share my screen. I tell you what, I'm going to share my Zoom screen first so that you can see how I do that. Okay, here's my Zoom screen. Looks a lot like your Zoom screen did a moment ago, but this is my actual Zoom screen. These are my menus down here, and you're seeing my cursor move back and forth. So if I want to, and let me set something up here before I do this. So if I want to share a computer screen live with you instead, I just go to the share screen button at the bottom of the screen. Zoom will support multiple monitors. I've got, as you saw, I've got 4 monitors on this system. Let's say I want to share this monitor, screen 4, over here on the right with you. I just tap that and click the share button, and now you're seeing what's on my screen 4, and you're seeing it live. Probably I want to get this thing off of there so you don't have to see that. So now I can record my screen. So let's say out of all this process here, I want to create a brief screencast video. Well, actually a video with both full motion video and with a screencast in it. And I want to do it all in one take, all in one video. How do I do that? Well, it's dirt simple. I'm going to stop my screen share for the moment so you're seeing me again. And I go and I hit the record button. Now, I can't do that right now because I'm already recording this. But I did this earlier. We'll take a look and see hopefully what the result looks like when we're done. So I can get ready, take a deep breath. Hopefully I've made an outline of what I want to say, and I've got that tacked up somewhere where I can see it so I don't forget entire sections of the video. You can type out a script in advance if you're really worried about what you're going to say, but that tends to make the video a little stilted in my view. And we're all teachers. We're used to speaking extemporaneously in front of a group of people all the time. It's what we do. And so we can usually get away without an actual script, but an outline is a really good idea, especially as we age, so we don't forget what we meant to say when we get going. But I'm just going to try this ad hoc here. Okay, so you're seeing me. I'm going to, let's say I'll hit record, and then we'll get started. So let's just say action. Hi, everyone. Let's learn how to log into Canvas at the San Diego Community College District. Now I'm going to share my screen. All right, here's the login screen for our Canvas system at the SDCCD. You can access that at sdccd.instructure.com. You can just type that into the location line on your web browser and press enter, and up will come the login page. You'll then be asked for your 10-digit user ID for our Canvas. That will be your student ID number or your employee ID number as provided to you by PeopleSoft, by the SDCCD portal. So let's say this is, and then you'll enter that, and then in the password blank, you'll enter your password for that account. Initially, your password is set to your 8-digit birth date, month, day, year. And once you've entered both your user ID and your password, you just click the login button. Wait a second. Canvas will take you to the dashboard where you can access your Canvas courses. Now I'll cancel my screen share. And now I'm talking to you again. That's all there is to accessing Canvas at the San Diego Community College District. And then I'd hit the stop button on the recording, which you can see at the bottom of my screen. If I share my screen with you, share my Zoom screen with you. Okay, there's the stop button right there. I'm not going to hit that because I'd stop my overall session recording, but that's all I'd have to do to stop the recording. As soon as I hit stop, Canvas has been sending this, or actually, once I hit stop, Canvas up to that time, or Zoom, excuse me, up to that time, has been sending that recording to a temporary storage location on my hard drive. As soon as I hit stop, it sends it on up to the Zoom cloud. And within a few minutes, it'll be ready. And you'll get an email, as I said, that tells you it's ready and gives you the link to the video. To show you where that ends up, let me redo here. Let me get my Chroma key back. So it's just me, and go to, and I'll talk more about how I'm doing this in a moment because I saw someone ask a question about that earlier. And here I am on the back with PowerPoint. To find this online, I just go to, let me drag my web browser window over here where you can see it. I just go to the Zoom corporate website at zoom.us, log in to my account, and go to recordings in the menu here on the left. And let's see, here's one I made earlier today. I think this is the one I want. Let's find out. I can preview it by clicking on the topic link here, and then clicking on the little blue button with the play button in it. And let's see. No.
This is Hidden Brain. I'm Shankar Vedanta.
That's not the one I thought it was. What did I do there? Let's see. Oh, that's June 20th, not July 20th. Here's the one. Oh, shoot, it's still processing. Well, what, little dog. I assumed this one would be ready by now. I recorded this over an hour ago. Apparently, the Zoom cloud is taking its time today. Normally, that recording that you just made would be available. Certainly, it will be available once Zoom sends you the email. To access it, you do what I just did here, accessing this earlier one. Let's see what this one is. Hopefully it's nothing too embarrassing. To view the video, I just click this blue button here and wait a second and then hit play.
All righty, we're going to try this cloud recording here and see how long it takes it to.
Okay. The recording will automatically be captioned. That's something I didn't mention when we used YouTube a little bit ago. When you upload a video to YouTube, it is also automatically captioned. There's no requirement for you to request that. You don't have to do anything to make that happen. That YouTube video will automatically have closed captions available on it. So your video is automatically accessible to persons with hearing impairment, and you're fine. Let's see, I'll stop that share so you can see this a little better. And your captions will be available here. You can edit them if you like. If you need to, usually there's little, if any, editing necessary. The automatic captioning in YouTube and the Zoom Cloud these days is so good that it's rarely necessary to do a lot of editing. So we have this Zoom video online, ready to share with our students. To share it with them, we just need the link, the URL for the video. That will be sent to you by Zoom in an email, but you can also retrieve it here. Right here, when you click on the video to view it, instead of actually viewing the video, you can click this little button here that says Copy Shareable Link. And Zoom tells you that's been copied to your clipboard. So now all you have to do to share this with your students is you could paste that into an email, into a Canvas announcement, or you can go to Canvas and do something similar to what we did before. Let's see, let me log in as me rather than as Rocky. There. And go back to that same Canvas course we were in earlier, sandbox, and I'll go to that same module again. That's not it. No. Let's see. Well, here's one labeled Zoom recording. I'll just use that. Sorry about all the scrolling. Now we're set. So I can just add this. And this time, the one drawback to using the Zoom Cloud is that you can't get an embed code. It doesn't provide you with one. So what I've got to do is just put a link to this video into this module. I do that by selecting external URL as my type of item that I want to insert here. And I just paste the link that I've got on my clipboard into the box labeled URL for Universal Resource Locator, or web link as you prefer. I'll just paste that in. And it's a god-awful huge URL that you don't have to worry about. And then give the page a name. Zoom recording 7/20/2022. And it's essential, if you're linking a Zoom recording into your Canvas module, to make sure that load in a new tab is checked. Otherwise, it won't play properly. It's just a nasty little coincidence there. And then we add the item to the module. And there it is, Zoom recording 7/20/2022. I don't have to go in and embed it in the Canvas page or anything. Now I just click here, and this takes me directly to the Zoom cloud, and I can play the video from here.
All righty, we're going to try this cloud recording here.
So there we are. We've gone the entire, again, through the entire video production cycle, from creating the video to putting it online to sharing it with our students. This time it took like 10 minutes. And that was only because I was nattering on about it. If you'd just been doing it without having to listen to me or having me having to talk about it, you could do it in, it takes about 5 minutes longer than the actual runtime or recording time of the video. So again, simple, quick, easy, much more effective than typing all this out on a page and having the students read it. All righty. Let's get back to PowerPoint and see where we are. So we've done all of this. Video production with OBS be our next brief mention here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is a topic that's deserving of its own 2-hour seminar. So I'm just going to mention this as a possibility. Open Broadcaster Studio, or OBS, is a software-based video studio and switcher. It allows you to, among other things, record video, both motion video and live and screen recording video, screencasts, and put them online. It is it's once you know how to use it and have it set up, it's even quicker than Zoom because you don't have to start a Zoom meeting first and so on. But the process of getting it set up and learning to use it is a little bit more, well, I wouldn't say it's more complicated than Zoom at all. It's just that we already know so much about Zoom that we have a big step up on using Zoom for video production. OBS, on the other hand, allows us to do much more sophisticated things than we can do even with Zoom. Whereas with Zoom, we can switch back and forth between our webcam and our screen recording with ease and so on. In OBS, I can just I can record all sorts of different things. I can, let's see, I can put myself in all sorts of places. That happens to be the place that I'm in right now. That's a live view out my back window of Lake Pend Oreille in northern Idaho. And those sparkling, you can see the sun sparkling on the water in real time. And there's somebody out there. Oh, there's somebody's sailboat out there and so on. In a minute, somebody on a jet ski will roll by. It's summer up here. So I can do tricks like this. I can put myself in front of a video that is playing off my hard drive, like this video on that I snatched off the internet that I watch when I get homesick for San Diego occasionally. It shows a day in San Diego from the beach to the mountains to everything. Or I can use my pan-tilt zoom camera that I was showing you before that allows me to view my studio and zoom in on things I want to show you how to do, like hanging up your microphone on a boom to cut out vibration and so on when you're recording. Or I can switch between sources quickly and easily. I can bring up computer screens, or I can bring up, as I've been doing all day, combinations of video sources where I'm showing you both my the camera that's pointing at me and my shared and one of my computer screens at the same time. I got the question earlier. I think I saw that go by in the chat tool. How do you do this thing where you're a little person, you get mini you over top of a PowerPoint slide or some other image or live screen image that you're sharing with people? And the answer is I do it using OBS. This, as I say, requires its own seminar. I do that periodically. I did it most recently less than a month ago, and there's several recordings showing how to do this online. There's also a set of tutorials that are purpose made. They're not live meetings. They're a little more efficient, a little bit more focused. So this, and let me show you where to find those. That is on our Open on Demand site at sdccdolvid.org. I put this link in every one of my email messages that I send out. It's in the signature, but I can put that link in the chat tool for you. There it is. And if you go to this site, one of the first things you'll see is a slideshow at the top of the screen. If you just want the easiest way to get to something, a slideshow at the top of the screen that features certain videos that we want to highlight. And one of those is this one, which is OBS using Open Broadcaster Studio. If you click on that, the link to it, you get access to a series of tutorials that start with installing OBS. It's free. You download it off the internet. It'll run on your PC or your Mac equally well. And then setting up how to set up OBS and how to use the technique we're going to talk about next, Chroma key with OBS, green screen effects. And then how to send this output to Zoom, as I'm doing right now, and how to record from Open Broadcaster Studio, which is how you would use Open Broadcaster Studio as a video production tool if you didn't just feed the video to Zoom and record it in Zoom. You can do that without Zoom using Open Broadcaster Studio itself. There's a record button. And it's even simpler than recording in Zoom. So I'm just going to leave it with that, I think. All right. And with Open Broadcaster Studio and with Zoom, as a matter of fact, you can also do, instead of recording meetings or holding Zoom meetings, you can do live streaming, which essentially turns your computer into an internet TV station. You can do free live streaming through services like YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, which are all free to use, more or less unlimited. And all you have to do is send the link to the a web link to the stream to people you wish to communicate with, and they can see you just as if they were watching you on TV. Yes, this is a frightening new world. You can imagine some of the things that are on live streams out there. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch do a pretty good job of shutting down things that are egregiously against their policies, but their policies are fairly elastic. Okay. So just a little bit of a teaser on Open Broadcaster Studio. I hope to do another one of those either in August or September for fall term. Another 2-hour session on how to set up and use OBS. It's not anything that's beyond anyone who uses Zoom on a regular basis. So just a word about how you're seeing me right now, appearing to float over the over this PowerPoint slide down here in the lower right, when in fact what is really happening is that I'm sitting in front of my green screen, and what you would normally see behind me is that green color. So how do I get rid of the green color and have what's underneath it show through? That's called chroma key or green screen effects. So called because usually the background color that is used for these effects is green, but it doesn't happen to be. When they used this same technique in making Star Wars back in 1976, they used blue screens instead of green. The primary reason we use green these days is that if you're using blue screen effects, you ever wonder why none of those uniforms or none of those costumes had any blue on them? Or why the actors, you wouldn't have noticed it, but any actor who was blue-eyed had to wear colored contact lenses, because the blue color is removed. The background color is removed in a chroma key situation. So if they were wearing blue, they would disappear. That's how they make the Invisible Man movies or Invisible Person movies. So how do we, whereas blue is a fairly common color to wear, that color of green is likely only to be popular on St. Patrick's Day. So it's a little easier to avoid problems with it. You do need to do this well. You do need a green screen background, or at least a monocolor background. Either blue or green works quite well, but green is the standard for reasons we just talked about. This is nothing, there's no difficulty at all in doing this, because, or in very little expense, because you can go to Amazon or lots of other places online and just type in green screen. And you'll see tons of options, many of which are expensive. But here's a 7 by 10 foot, which is plenty big enough, green screen backdrop for $15. There's probably one on here that's even cheaper. You can also get cute things like this that you can hang over the back of your chair. Then you don't even have the problem of hanging it up. But those tend to be a little more expensive. Let me see if I can find. Well, there's one. Oh, here we go. Here's one 5 by 7, which is also big enough, for $10. It's just a piece of green, non-woven green cloth. You can hang it up behind you in a variety of ways. I've used a couple of coat racks. If you're filming with a wall behind you, you can just tack it or stick it to the wall with plastic tack. You don't want to make thumbtack holes in your wall. You can hang it over a door or a piece of furniture or whatever. It's nothing to it. And these, we did a test the other day in a seminar I did on chroma key technology, period. And we compared the impact of this semi-professional green screen I have behind me here with that this very $10 option here from Amazon, which I bought. So I have a portable green screen to carry with me. that can go right in my, just folds up and goes in my little backpack that I carry my portable studio in. Like so. And I hung that up, as you can imagine, folded up like that. It has all kind of creases on it and things like that, and folds and shadows and so on. It used to be that would drive what's called the chroma key process wild, but the chroma keyers built into OBS or into Zoom are so much better these days that they pretty much ignore all that the folds and things like that. As long as it's more or less the right color, they're perfectly happy with it. And it works just as well as my much more expensive green screen that I have hanging behind me here. And for little or no cost, and just a tiny bit of hassle in figuring out a way to hang it up. So there is really very little impediment to these days to actually putting a green screen behind you. It doesn't have to be permanent. And this will make your Zoom virtual backgrounds work a lot better. We've all seen those Zoom virtual backgrounds in meetings where people are emerging and disappearing periodically, or if they move their hand vanishes or something. All those effects. You can do Zoom virtual backgrounds, which are done via this chroma key technique without a green screen, but it's much more, it's much less effective than if you have a green background behind you. You get much sharper keys and much better looking results if you have that background. And you can get those, and you can spend as much or as little as you want on them. You can buy lighting, you can buy kits like this one illustrated in this image here, which contain a support system to hang up the green screen and and some lighting. That happens to be the very lighting kit I'm using right now in my studio. I think that one now is about $70 or $80, but you don't have to spend that kind of money. $10 for that simple non-woven screen will get you going and will vastly improve the performance of your chroma key, including in OBS. All I have to do is tell OBS to take out the green color, and there I am. Get a little skin tone back there. All right. You can do, of course, virtual backgrounds in Zoom. We've seen that before in any number of Zoom sessions. Also, you can do advanced screen share with PowerPoint in Zoom and do what I'm doing right now with my PowerPoint slides without OBS. How do I do that? Well, I can go to my screen share. Let me share my Zoom screen again with you so you can see what I'm doing. You can go to screen share and select the Advanced tab. And click PowerPoint as virtual background up here in the upper left and click Share. You're then asked to pick a PowerPoint presentation you want to put yourself in front of. Let me just find one here. All right, here's a, I think this is my next PowerPoint I'm going to need. I just select the PowerPoint presentation I want to put myself in front of and click Open. And bingo, oops, except I forgot to select the right, sorry, got to select the right camera. Give me. There I am, and let me take the Chrome key out. All right, there. All right, this I'm doing just with Zoom. No other software required, no OBS, no nothing. It does work a lot, and I could do this even without a green screen, but it wouldn't look as good. I also have the capability to make myself bigger, smaller, or larger, and I can move myself around the screen. So this is a green screen technique you can use just with Zoom. Stop the share and go back to my go back to OBS and do my green screen that way, a green screen effect that way. So, and when I'm doing live chroma key like this, I can interact with my PowerPoint in real time. I can point at that, especially if I make myself bigger. I can point at that image, in real time, and you can know what I'm talking about and all that. So I can interact live with my backgrounds using either OBS or Zoom itself with PowerPoint. The advantage to OBS is I'm not limited to just putting myself in front of PowerPoint slides. I can put myself in front of anything that's on this screen that I'm sharing with you through OBS. And as I change the things that are on that screen, I can take you to various different places. So OBS is a nice thing to have, but if you just want to put yourself in front of a PowerPoint presentation like this, Zoom works quite well too. Just that advanced screen share feature on using PowerPoint as a virtual background works quite nicely. Okay, again, something I'll just mention because this requires a couple-hour session all by itself, which I will be offering again and have offered a number of times, and there are recordings showing how to do this on our Open On Demand site, including a series of tutorials very similar to the ones or like the ones I showed you for OBS that will show you how to edit video that you have created. This is can be a fairly important part of the video production process, though it's generally not essential. Why would you edit a video that you'd recorded? Well, maybe you made a mistake and you had to do something twice. To, once wrong and once right. You ever done that in a live lecture? It's my favorite thing. I have to do that all the time. And in a live Zoom meeting, I'll go down the path and if something doesn't work, I have to back up and do it again, like the YouTube when I was sharing my iPhone screen with you and YouTube decided not to let me do that all of a sudden. I was able to back up and do it another way, but I could go back if I make a mistake or something goes wrong like that. I can go in post-production or video editing and cut that out. I can add things back in that I forgot and make it look like I didn't forget it. If I do it right, you'll never be able to tell that wasn't in the original recording. I can also do things like tighten up the recording if there's a period of time when nothing is happening because I'm trying to think what I was going to do next. I can cut that out and tighten it up. And the thing that I most use video editing for is taking, and video editing implies you can edit the audio that's part of the video as well, is I go through and I take out the which I am pathologically incapable of avoiding when I'm speaking live. I have tried to train myself out of it. I've been lecturing in one venue or another since 1969. And if I were ever going to be successful in getting rid of my habit of saying, when I'm thinking, it would have happened by now. So if I want to look a little bit less like a drooling idiot, I can take my recording and go through and cut out the ums. So it sounds like I'm speaking. There we go. I'm speaking. I can't stop it. Speaking continuously without pauses for thought. But that's certainly not enough of a reason in and of itself to edit a video. But there are lots of reasons why you might want to do that. But quite frankly, much more often than not, you don't really need to edit an instructional video. It's good enough as it is. Even if you say a lot, and if you perhaps make a mistake and have to cycle back around and correct yourself. That happens in a live lecture, right? And students learn from those, we hope. Having that in the video doesn't invalidate it for instructional purposes. And if you don't do the editing, you can spend the time that you would otherwise use on the editing, which is not insignificant, in making another video, which your students will appreciate a lot more than you making that first one look better. So I'm not advocating for editing every instructional video you make, but you should know that that's an option and that there are tools that are readily accessible that you can use for that. I list two here that are very good. Camtasia is the one that I use all the time. It is exceptionally easy to learn to use, and it's very powerful. It's one of the best mid-range semi-professional video editors available today, if not the best. It has one drawback. It's not free. It costs about, I think it's up to about $160. I'm sorry. It's up to about $200 now. But it's a perpetual license. You don't have to keep subscribing to it every year. But it is not free. But it's very easy to learn to use and very easy to use. Shotcut is completely free, and you can download it and install it on your PC or your Mac and be editing in minutes. But it's not as easy to use as Camtasia, and it's not as powerful in some ways. I am piddling around right now with a third option that I would have put on this slide if I had become happy with it. And I'll just mention it to you here. It's called Clip Champ. Let me pull it up here. There it is. This is a Microsoft tool, or they've just bought it from someone. It is free. It will run through a web browser, so you can use it on a PC or a Mac. And it's quite a decent, very simple, but quite a decent video editor. I didn't save one I did the other day, did I? It's not only a video editor, it's also a video production tool. You can record your screen and your camera at the same time, or just your camera or just your screen. You get all sorts of tools here. You get a timeline for your editor and so on. And I've fiddled with it a little bit. It seems to work very well, but I'm not quite at the point where I can formally recommend it. But and there is a free version of it, I should add as well, which is perfectly functional. You don't have to spend money on it. They want you to upgrade to like $10 a month to use it. There's no need, in my view. You can do wonderful things with it and do everything I just described with it for free. And it runs through your web browser. And it's got a very standard, simple interface and very easy to learn to use. Again, Clip Champ. See if I can get back. Nope. There it is. So if any of you are looking for a simple way to edit things like your Zoom recordings and so on, and they specifically mentioned Zoom as one of the things you can use it with, Zoom recordings. And there's even a Zoom app for Clipchamp, which can allow you to access Clipchamp directly from within Zoom and have your Zoom recordings automatically dropped into Clipchamp to edit. It's again, I'm just a little short of where I would be real comfortable recommending it without reservation, but it looks very promising to me. And I'll probably do a seminar on this. If it works out, I'll do a seminar on using Clipchamp sometime in the next couple of months. Okay, so those are some post-production options that you might avail yourselves of. And we've been talking about the free video hosting options that we have available to us. I've illustrated both YouTube and I should have included the Zoom Cloud here on this page as well. I'll just mention also that you can use Canvas Studio to host and share your instructional videos. This is a tightly integrated tool that's accessed through Canvas, through our learning management system, and that has a lot of the same features as YouTube. It is free to you because the district is paying for it for you to use it, and it's part of our Canvas, our selection of Canvas tools that we make available to you. We also do training on this. I'll be doing an introduction to Canvas Studio seminar next month in the lead up to fall term. I'll just show you very quickly here in the 2 minutes I have left how to put a video onto Canvas Studio so that you'll see the simplicity of it. I access Canvas Studio through Canvas by going to the Global Access menu here on the left and clicking the Studio button. That takes me to my Canvas Studio library. If I want to add a video to my Canvas Studio library, and this assumes that the video is in a file stored on my local hard drive, which would be the case if I recorded my Zoom recording to my local hard drive, or if I recorded using OBS Studio, Open Broadcaster Studio. So let's say I want to add a video file that I have on my hard drive to my Canvas Studio library. I just click the Add button up in the upper right here, and I browse for the video files that I might have on my hard drive. You can also pull YouTube or embed YouTube and Vimeo videos here. That's a topic for another day. So now I just go to where I have my videos stored on my local computer, and I pick up a video. I'm trying to find something that's short here. That's 1 minute and 14 seconds. I'll take that one. click on it and click open. The video proceeds to upload to Canvas Studio. The length of time that takes varies depending on the size of the video and the speed of your internet connection. Once the video finishes uploading, here you get a little progress meter here. When that finishes uploading, Canvas Studio will process it into a form it can use. So Canvas Studio will accept almost any common video file format. It'll accept the MOV videos you produce on your iPhone, the MPEG 4 videos you produce on your Android phone, or using Zoom or OBS or any one of a variety of video tools. Is processing the video now. If you're in a big hurry and you want to sit here and wait for it to process, it gives you a little meter that shows you how far along you are. And as soon as the processing is finished, the video is immediately available for viewing and sharing. To view it yourself, and only you can do this. You click there and you just play the video.
Just that easy. It's recording. It's recording what you.
Okay, there's a video. If I want to share that, well, before I share it, I have to make sure it's captioned. And unlike YouTube, the Zoom Cloud or YouTube, Canvas Studio does not automatically caption the videos. By that, I mean it doesn't caption them whether you ask or not. You have to ask it. Please caption my video. Take care, Mira. And so I do that by clicking on the captions link here below the video. I tell the Canvas Studio that I'm speaking English, and then I request the captions. I don't have to sit here and watch that little executive pacifier. I can come back later. I do have to look at the captions and okay them before they will become visible to my viewers. But let's see, this one probably has the captions ready. Nope, I never asked for them there. That's one thing you got to be careful with Canvas Studio, is to remember to ask for the captions. There you go. When you come back, you'll see this review and publish button. You just click that. Your captions appear. You can edit them at need and then publish them. And now when this video is played, you'll have an option to turn on the captions and get the.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dave Giberson.
So that's all there is to utilizing Canvas Studio as a hosting option for videos that you create and store as local video files on your hard drive. And that's everything I have for you today. Let me ask if you have more questions. You're probably muted. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask whatever you like. Let's start with stuff related to our today's topic of instructional video production. But then move on to other things if you have those. And Cindy, I haven't forgotten that we're going to speak here in a minute. I'll be happy to. Okay. Anybody have anything? Just unmute yourself and speak up.
Hi, Dave. I wrote it in the chat tool.
Oh, okay.
And I'll have to be leaving soon for another class. All right. When you go to the, where is it? Stop video of the video setting. There's some things called blur. Is that blurring the background? Is there a way to, I know there's a way to blur
Oh,
like
yeah.
your students
No,
Or is
you're
that as
talking
the-
about in the Zoom virtual
in
background.
the Zoom virtual. So it's a
Right.
virtual background blur.
Here's what Kathy is talking about. If I share my Zoom screen with you, she has gone to the Zoom virtual background tool. And indeed, I need to switch. Let me switch to my webcam, which is not part of OBS. And she's gone to the little camera icon in the lower left-hand corner of the Zoom menus and has clicked on the little menu button next to it. That brings up the video settings menu and has gone to choose virtual background. And you get all sorts of virtual backgrounds that you can put behind you, like Golden Gate Bridge or space or whatever. But there's also one that's just marked blur. And that does just what it sounds like. It blurs out your messy background so that people can see you, but they can't really see what's behind you.
But I can still see like this. If I had students,
It's
just like I
not,
can see.
yeah, it's not perfect. If there's high contrast changes behind you and so on, those could still come through, but you can't really see. If I had a messy room behind me, you'd just be able to see vague, blurry objects behind me. You couldn't see exactly what they were.
So it must be in Camtasia where you have blurring, where you can blur.
If you want to
people
blur just a portion of the screen,
out.
yeah, you have to use a video editor like Camtasia, which has a blur tool in it, which allows you to pick the portion of the screen that you want to blur. Trying to think if there's a way to do that live in Zoom.
Because like sometimes I'm taping something and I tell students, okay, I'm going to say, because I hate to have to do a video over and over again, because you're not supposed to do one for one. You can do it for your class, but you can't save it and show another class.
And you could blur out from a Zoom video or a Zoom recording, you could blur out the students' images, but you'd have to do it in post-production.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't do it live. I can't think of a way to do it live in Zoom. I'll look into that and see if there, new things come up all the time, but I'm not aware of a way to do that live. But you can do it in a Zoom recording in post-production certainly using Camtasia. I believe you can do it in Shotcut as well. I don't know about something as basic as Clipchamp. I don't know if it has that capability or not. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, though.
Okay, I have Camtasia, but I don't remember, did you tell us where to get Shotcut?
Oh, yeah. Shotcut is free and online. You just go to, I believe it's just shotcut.com. Get that out of the way. Shotcut.com. Yep, that's it. You just click here to download it.
Okay.
Close that. And here's the download. You just want it's detected that I'm using a Windows machine, so it only gives me the option for the Windows version of Shotcut, but there's a Mac version as well. If you access it using your Mac, it will give you the option to download your, oops, and I'm not showing you that. I am sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna
God,
say.
I'd switched out my, and let me get rid of that blur. That's not helping. Okay, there we go. Again, it's shotcut.com.
You did blur. Okay, like that was your phone, but that phone could have just as easily have been a person. So that was blurred. So did you intend to blur or like an accident?
No, it's all with the blur tool in Zoom. It's everything or nothing.
Okay.
You blur everything behind you except for you. and hopefully not you, depending on how good your background is. But again, with Shotcut, you just click to download and download the installer for PC or Mac, depending on the computer that you're using. But if you want that selected blurring effect, you're going to have to do it in post-production, as far as I know. But I will look into see if there might be another way to do that. I've just never run across it to do it live using Zoom.
Okay, so it's only afterwards. Then maybe if I find one that I thought, because like it's like an hour and a half, and then it's like I want to cut this down, but I need to blur like
You can
something.
blur any portion of the screen for any length of time using Camtasia or Shotcut. I'm not sure about Clipchamp, but for sure in Camtasia you can do it, and it's fairly simple. You just have to run the blur throughout the video, which is easy enough.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I also wrote my question in the chat box.
Oh, okay. Why don't you just hum a few bars for me? I'll know I've got the right one. What was yours about?
Okay, it was about adding captions using Camtasia because unlike Studio or Screencast-Matic, it doesn't look like it recognizes the audio and automatically generate the captions.
Right. Actually, you can set Camtasia up to automatically generate captions, but it only works on a Windows computer, and it involves a fair bit of setup.
Ooh.
And quite frankly, it's no longer necessary. That's why they haven't gone to the trouble of making it any easier. Because what everyone just does now is you can edit a video in Camtasia and output a product, an edited video, and then just upload that video to YouTube or Canvas Studio and let YouTube or Canvas Studio create the automatic captions. And those generally are better than the ones created within Camtasia itself. And you don't have any involvement in the process. Basically, it's automatic. You may have to request them in Canvas Studio, as you do in Canvas Studio, and review them before putting them online. But that's just the only problem with that is remembering to do it. With YouTube, you just upload the video and it automatically gets captioned, and the captions are automatically visible to your viewers. So there's no real need to caption a video inside Camtasia anymore, unless you're going to do something unusual with that video.
Yeah,
like maybe you're going to take that video and play it off your hard drive live in a class or something like that, off your laptop. Then you would need to generate the captions inside Camtasia. But it's just as easy just to upload it to YouTube and play it from YouTube and have YouTube create the captions. So
yeah, but anyway, because I'm teaching Japanese, it doesn't generate correctly because it doesn't recognize.
I was going to say that both Canvas Studio and YouTube will try to generate captions in Japanese if you identify, in the case of Canvas Studio, if you identify the language of the video as Japanese, it will try, but you're telling me they're not very good.
No, because I have to mix English and Japanese, so I end up editing
I see, right? So it doesn't know what. Yeah, that would be a problem. And that's a problem with YouTube as well. So I see your problem, and I see why you'd want to do that. You're going to have the same problem, unfortunately, with Camtasia, though you could correct it in Camtasia manually. by wiping, but no, I'll take that back. You'd have to chop the video apart in Camtasia and caption each of the segments separately, except that Camtasia, I don't believe Camtasia will do captioning in any language other than English, because what it uses is the built-in Windows speech to text engine. And I don't think that works with anything but English. I could be wrong there because I haven't looked at it lately because I haven't needed it, but that's an interesting problem. Let me think about that and see if I can think of a workaround for you.
Well, actually, it's not going to take that long time to edit on Studio, but my concern is how long we are going to be able to use Studio, because last year we have a rumor that's going to be terminated.
Yes, I heard that rumor too. I was in on some of those meetings, and I very strongly recommended against getting rid of Studio. I can't promise you that possibility doesn't come up again. I will promise you that you will be able to download those videos before it happens. We would give you you would be given lots of notice.
Okay.
So you wouldn't lose your work, but it could. Yeah, I was looking at quite a bit of work on my part because I've got more videos on our Canvas Studio instance than anyone else. I was looking at hours and hours and hours of work to fix that. I was going to charge them for it. But they thought, not for that reason, they thought better of it because they realized a lot of people are using Canvas Studio and we have a lot of content out there, and to change our minds about that now would be unwise, to say the least, without a compelling reason to do so, more than money. But I can't promise you that won't happen again. So my recommendation is you put something on Canvas Studio, download it, and keep it backed up on a local hard drive. And I do that as I went along. If that's the only place you have something on Canvas Studio, download it and keep it safe, just in case that idea surfaces again. That's what I'm doing if I create something on Canvas Studio. So I empathize, and I'll think about a workaround.
Thank you.
To doing that. I'm not sure. I can't guarantee I'll come up with anything, but I'll do a little research and see if anybody's come up with a great idea that I don't know about, because that's a fascinating question. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you for your lecture.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks so much for coming. All right.
Okay. See you next time.
Take care. I'll look forward to it.